here we go. Ready for radio now. This is What Matters, Ponder Gander, considering perspectives on reallibertymedia.com. That's rlmradio.xyz. We're broadcasting through a live broadcast on YouTube, which is picked up over here through to Real Liberty Media. And welcome, everybody. And this is VinE, Vincent Easley, the second II Captain. And we did have Captain Carl on last week, and Fran Thornton. We made a little trip up. We went up to the county fair in Clark County, Nevada, and then back again a week ago. And we broadcast from a undisclosed, which is now disclosed, location in the deserts of Nevada. And that was out where I used to live, out in Moapa Valley, way back when. So then we went on up, left out Saturday early, went up to Cedar City, and then on up for Saturday evening into Sandy, Utah, which is by Salt Lake City. And we listened to, really live this time, yes, Grimner. And we went up and listened to Jeanette Finicum and Carol Dundee, and they are on a speaking tour. Anyways, I thought I'd talk about my trip. But before I do, I just wanted to tell you something really, really, really terrible happened to me. Hi, Chloe. Man, I've been having headaches for years and years and years, and I went to the doctor, and he told me it was a very rare condition that my testicles was pressing up against my spine, calling that, and the only way to fix that was castration. And I thought that was pretty extreme. That headaches was so bad, I did it. Terrible. So I really feel good afterwards. No more headaches, and just living life real fine like, and no pain. And I thought, well, I'm going to be going to a wedding here this next week. Chloe, I'm laughing at you. So I went to a tailor to get me a suit. My cousin's getting married, my cousin's boy, next Saturday. So I went to get me a suit, and the tailor, he says, well, let me guess here. And he guessed my UNC and all that, and got me fixed up with a nice suit, and asked me if I'd like a shirt too. And I said, sure. And he says 16 and a half neck, and on and on. I said, wow, you're pretty good. How you know all this? And he said, well, I've been in the business for a great many years. And I said, wow. He says, well, how about a new pair of underwear to go along with it? And I said, okay. He says, let me guess here, 36. And I says, no, 34. I said, I got you. He says, no. He says, if you just wear 34, it press your testicles up against your spine and cause you to have extreme headaches. Waiting for the chuckle. Okay. So my cousin was reading that joke for me, and I thought I'd just take off with that. Well, let's back up. Let's start from the beginning, and we'll go back to January 2017 when I left Arkansas, and I come down here to Texas, and right back where I'm at right now to visit with my cousin. His wife actually is my favorite cousin. I love him to death. No, my cousin's been like a second dad since I was 16, or an uncle, and just really good family. Proud to be here. And I'll have to go get this picture to show you the buffalo tongue, and if I can do that and talk at the same time. Yeah, I'm coming up on 5 years in radio here, May the 2nd, so I'm just over a week away from 5 years of radio, and I'm going to scroll down here on Facebook where I can go grab that photograph of me and the buffalo as I scroll down. So anyways, I left down out of Arkansas about 15 months ago. Come here and I met up with my good friend Dan from Tennessee. Y'all remember Dan 10EC. I went there, and man, I did a lot. Hiked several sections of the Appalachian Trail. I spent time in the cemetery, a couple of them, with my ancestors. Camped out, cleaned 2 of them. The very first Vincent Easley, who was one of my direct ancestors' brother's sons, and cleaned his place up. Wait a minute, I got to click that then, open it. So I'm going to show you some buffalo tongue. open image in a new town. In a new town. I've been around in plenty of towns this past over a year. Well, let me copy that, and I'm going to bring it over to the chat. And pass, puff, pass. It is 420. And we have some to talk about that and cannabis. And it looks like they're talking about bringing this legalization business to a federal level. So there you are. There's the picture, and I'll copy the description here and then paste that. And it goes something like this. Says, I've heard buffalo, and I spelled herd, H-E-R-D, or beefalo as the case may be, is that buffalo tongue is a delicacy. Personally, I didn't care for the taste. Or how to not French kiss a cow. And that's hashtag nasty flavor, bad breath, mad cow, dis-ease at the Easy Ranch. That's here in Texas. You know, everybody in Texas has oil wells in their front yard and longhorn steers and all that good stuff, right? And we'll get canceled so that comes in there. Boom, there you go. Yeah, righty. So in Tennessee, lots of experiences there on the Appalachian Trail and going about East Tennessee over there with my good friend Dan. He did radio over at UCY for some time with this one Yahoo. That's another story. Anyways, good guy, my friend Dan, and we've been talking here lately. Want to know if I was going to come back out, and so I'm rounding out and almost back home. Yeah, back home to Arkansas. And, figure I'll go back there at least for a minute, and I don't know if this gypsy blood's going to well up or not. And I'll be want to roam around some more, so I'm not sure. Let me grab my notes here. So we got to talk about today, my trip. We'll talk more about that. And 420. Today is 420. Of course, cannabis can. It's also Hitler's birthday, as pointed out by our very own Hans Dredd, or J Dredd, he calls himself. We all know him affectionately as Hansel. Also want to talk about Waco and Columbine. Also want to talk about building bridges. Sheri Wilson, that's countering the rhetoric. Night before last, the Blog Talk radio. I can't believe that she does radio on Blog Talk. But anyways, so she had, I guess, came in last night, and I was busy and couldn't catch the show, but I do want to listen to that. She has Alex Jones' ex-wife. And let me pop this button over here so I can read this on her Twitter and the description on that. So I also want to talk about the First Amendment and that video I did. I got one thumbs down there for some reason. I guess because I wasn't too engaging, I'm not sure. But anyways, we stopped there back the other side of Van Horn and this side of El Paso. I guess it's probably 100 miles in from the border, and they have the border checks, you know, like they did in Nazi Germany, asking for papers, please. Well, I seen what was going on, and I woke up, barely getting any naps on the bus. Boy, that's a hard way to travel, and my trip was extended due to a delay in leaving Las Vegas, and it was some loading involved, but mostly, you know, Greyhound is an adventure. You got to take what you get on that, and if you're too worried about you know, being on time and all that, then you're going to be highly disappointed. So this was supposed to have been on Wednesday, and I don't see, it's her pinned tweet, but Cheri Wilson, it was formerly, she just got married a week ago, formerly Cheri Roberts, left wing, but you know, everybody's got their perspectives, and I'm now moving on some from my concentration of the Bundy coverage, and looking more towards, as I've changed my paper, the paperly there on Twitter, to what matters, ponder Gander, considering perspectives. So to be fair, I'd like to take a look at other people's ideas, and you know, the idea of what happened out there in Bunkerville in 2014 is of course, convoluted, I think, in so many ways by a lot of people, and really don't understand. I've got my patties, and I'll describe that is the poots and the patties. The poots they call Bundy supporters poots, and I gave them the name of patties. Not the good kind of patty, not like a hamburger patty or peppermint patty, not even a cow patty. So I give it an anagram. Patties are, that is, positioned attempt to terminate individual entity sovereignty. And that's, as opposed to what true anarchy is. There's no rulers, there's no crime, there's no harm. And all that's lost in the codes and statutes and so forth. But back to Cheri, countering the rhetoric with Cheri Roberts. It's actually Cheri Wilson now. So she had her guest. I assume she went on last night. She was supposed to. And I actually would like to talk to her. I'm not sure. She might be afraid to come over to some place like this at Real Liberty Media. But I intend to talk to her and offer her a spot here if it would fit in. I'll have to look up. I don't think she really broadcasts it on a regular basis. So anyways, Kelly Jones is Alex Jones' ex-wife. They had a big custody battle. And what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I gave note or spoke to the fact if Cheri had challenged me to cover this, what's this guy, Hogg, and then I think Rex Jones is Alex's son. Hey, there's not too much difference between the two as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, so are today's kids being indoctrinated into modern, digitally fueled conspiracy cults by their parents? Are they being abused and exploited? And what kind of adult will they be? And what I want to do here was let's click her link. I'd like to bring that over. And I would challenge y'all to listen to Cheri. And I got to give her a great amount of respect for her willingness to have a conversation with me. It looks like it is up. Good. It's episode number 55, Challenge Your Rhetoric with Cheri Roberts, and again, Cheri Wilson now. I'm not sure it's going to play, and I'm not going to try to play it myself. I'm going to go back and give you all the link. Uh-oh. It is playing. Let me stop that. I don't know if let me just let it play for a minute in the background, see. I'm not sure that that's actually gone out yet, but let's just try it. Sounds like it did work. So maybe she did get on last night. I'm not sure if y'all hear that in the background, but I'm going to let it go just a minute to see, because I do want to listen to Cheri. And this ought to be very, very interesting. So again, Challenge Your Rhetoric, Cheri Roberts, show number 55. It's playing in the background if y'all hear it on my computer. And am I signed in over there to follow her? No, I'm not logged in. So you got some background music going on. I just want to let it go ahead and play just a minute to see if it is going to go into the show. She did have, since Blog Talk Radio was having kittens, she told me Wednesday. Yeah, it doesn't look like it went up. So apparently they could not get back together on the broadcast for some reason. Yeah, because then it skips to, I'm going to kill it. Oh, well. Well, hopefully she will get that together and bring that interview back. Like I said, I'm very interested in listening to that. Back to the trip. Well, so from Tennessee, of all the great things I did there, a lot of great places I went, hiking up and down the mountains. And so scurvy, one of my more amiable trolls, which I'll take the word troll off of scurvy, the scurvy dog. That person at least is willing to engage me in semi-respectful conversation. I kind of like the person. I figure scurvy's probably smarter than me, and so I always appreciate somebody that's a little smarter than I, where I can learn. So DAs, which is short for dumb, dumb donkeys. I don't really have a lot of respect for it. When you're using logical fallacies and challenging what I have to say or anybody else, and you really don't have a lot of validity at all. Well, anyway, so I go from Tennessee, I go out to Spokane, Washington. My good friend Trapper John, I met in 2014 at the Bundy Ranch, and he'd moved from Vegas up yonder. So that would have been about June of last year, I think it was. I arrived in Spokane and smoked my first legal joint of my life. Happy 420, you all. I found that, let's see, I've smoked legal pot now in Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Colorado. And I believe I smoked a little bit puffing through going through Arizona, but I guess that wasn't quite legal. I think it's only medical marijuana there, as they call it. Hey, Circle, I'm glad you were able to join us. What'd you do at Flash Nasty? Okay, so I'm in Spokane, and I spend 2 or 3 months up there with my good friend John, Trapper John. He's a trapper. Then I stopped off on my way down to California to a friend of, since 1986. I've known my friend Coy there. Stopped off a couple of months there and went up and touched a white blaze on the Pacific Crest Trail. And before there, I stopped off in Oregon for the day and met our great and wonderful Hal Anthony. And I've got to say what a great honor and privilege that was. I believe Hal is probably the foremost authority on that which stands against us. 429, Cowboy Tech says. All right. And Circle asks, is a gander a male goose? Well, never goose a gander, but you can gander at a goose. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. So a ponder, a gander is to think. A gander is to have a look. So I've got my other Twitter handle over there. Yes, looking afar. Thank you, Cowboy. That's right. Taking a look from afar and thinking. And really, considering perspectives, that's what we're about here. A lot of times, so many people are so sure of what they know that there's no room to have any further consideration. Hey, Flash, I see. Yeah, you made it. And in my case, he says it's the goose. Okay. All right, so we stop off. I say we, that's me, the mini Vinnies that I am. And no, I'm not a schizoid. Shut up. He's talking, okay? Oh. Stop off and spent a good part of the day with Hal. You won't find any pictures of Hal and Anthony, and you won't be able to track them down. And I'll not tell you where I stopped off in Oregon to see him. He's pretty private, and unlike me, I'm completely non-anonymous, so that you don't have to be. A lot of people like to keep their privacy. For me, I like to think that it gives me some credibility to be in public and showing that I'm a real person. But I do understand other people that do choose to remain anonymous because this whole system is used against us. We've seen what happened with Facebook. And right after all that, Zuckerberg came out and did a testimony that very day all my settings changed on Facebook, and I no longer get notifications. But it's kind of a joke anyways. Nobody sees anything unless Facebook decides it's worthy, like, put up a new profile picture, and you'll get people like it. But for the most part, nothing. I'm not getting much engagement on Facebook anyway. And Tom Lockevar Stewart from Resurrect the Republic Truth Media, he says he's got 5,000 folks on his friends list, and he's hardly getting anybody engaging anyways because, like I said, it is their algorithms. Let me open this image in a new tab just for our listeners. listening now in Real Liberty Media. And if you come along later and try to find it in the chat room, of course, it's truncated, so you'll not see this. But here's a picture of me and my cousin's son and my soon-to-be new cousin, Brandy. What a great girl. He did a fine job. Is my volume too low, Flash? So there's a picture of me and my cousin and his soon-to-be wife, a week from tomorrow. And so actually I do have to go get pantsuit. It's I don't know if I'll have a cowboy hat on, but the other picture I posted up there, you see me back in a cowboy hat. And there they are right there. Oh, you know what? I probably want to go get this other picture for Circle and Flash because they were not here. But here's let me go show you about some buffalo tongue. And this is how not to kiss a cow. Coming back with it. Yeah, Facebook group, you're not on there anymore, are you? There's your picture. What are you saying, Flash? You have your volume set at 42 just to hear this guy. Who? What guy? You're going to have to bring that up. So it is Hitler's birthday, April the 20th, and I believe he was born in the last part of the 1800s, and not engaging much over there at Freedom's Network. I've been offline. Thank you, Circle. You know I love you. You're a wonderful sister over in Denmark, and of course married to my brother Flash there, who he and I have we did radio a couple of radio shows together at least, right? So I'm a little low. Well, I've got this Bluetooth on, and I don't know what to do about it. So we was testing it. All I can say is pump up the volume. Boom, boom. Okay, so now I'm in Oregon and down to California, and my good friend of many, 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 many years, Coy. He and I worked together. We were roommates. Me, him, and his brother, and another friend of ours, Eddie Cox. I'm pretty sure he's dead. If he needs to get higher. 420. Thank you, Cowboy Tech. So anyways, my buddy Coy, I go out and I stay a couple of months. You know this, I'm on disability. I got to get under $500 a month. As a matter of fact, all that fell off, so I'm actually very poor right now until I get back and sign back up for all that state aid. Yay! Long live the statists and welfare. Well, I figure if I've been was forced to pay, it's like insurance. Might not be able to collect. Thank you, Goober. 5x5. The band's just a tad low, but you can hear me okay. Well, I don't have any guests today, so you don't have to worry about whether you can hear them or not. Y'all did miss my testicle joke, Circle and Flash. And you'll have to go back and listen to the archive. And let's see here. So in California, and went up into the Sierras and touched a white blaze. Now, blazes on the trees, like on the Appalachian Trail, there's white blazes that keep you from getting lost. For the most part, it doesn't always work because some people just aren't smart enough to know which way is up and which way is down. Sorry, lady, that you're dead, but there was a woman many years ago that got lost off the trail up in Maine. And, of course, the Appalachian Trail is like almost 2,200 miles long, and a lot of people hike it over a period of 6 months. That's a lot of walking. You get a trail name or give yourself one, and my last hike, I got my trail name, and it was too far. Too far. Definitely, you get out there and you walk some on the trail, and boy, you get trail fever, and it catches hold of you, and you want to walk that whole thing. But with arthritis, it was no way. And what do you say, Flash? That's the point. I don't have to train you up, and you like it, weirdo. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or not. All the level streams are the high end of green, says Grimner. He's the great and mighty. He's a curator of our network here. and producing my show for me right now. The internet here is, well, it's better than what I had because I had none. Yep, Flash, too far from home and too far to go. And I did go too far on occasion in my comedy routine. But anyway, so the white blazes on the trail, and that woman got lost. She went off to go potty, and I guess she was shy and went too far and couldn't find her way back to the trail, and sat there until she died. Oh man, there's so much to say about that. Survival skills. I've practiced survival skills for most of my life. When I was young, I hunted. I was 6 years old out hunting by myself. They probably put a parent in jail for turning a 6-year-old loose with a gun to go wander these days. Yeah, me. Okay. Yes, I'm not so far from home now, Flash, am I? Getting closer and closer. And this is T for Texas. Let me go back to Twitter and see Grim put that together there. Let's see if that new link come up here. We'll read this introduction here. Let me say refresh. So anyways, yeah, let's go back to California. There I am. No, let's back up to Maine first. I've been to Maine, but I wasn't in Maine on this trip. But that woman got lost up there and stayed there and died. Instead of, I mean, you're uphill or downhill, and if you can't go, if you go so far off the trail and you can't find your way back, then, man, I'm just afraid that probably survival of the fittest had a lot to do with that. All right, Grimner, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. I found it. It's down the thread a little bit, and we have a comment. Let's just go take a look, and then we'll take a look. Let's see what somebody said. And wait a minute. Did it even open? No, it didn't. Let me try that again. Here we go. Now it's opening. We have a comment. Oh, that was Gander. Oops, was an hour early. Sorry, folks. We do start at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's noon o'clock Central, noon Central. Kind of a place and time, isn't it? So it is considering perspective upon your Gander with host VinE. Give me a T for Texas, and tales from the road trip from Las Vegas to Texas and beyond. So I backed way up before that. We are going to talk. We're going to talk about that trip from Vegas. But let me get there first. So back to Maine, and now we'll jump back to California. We went up to the Pacific Crest Trail, and I got to at least to get up there and touch a white blaze, walk just a short ways on it without a backpack. Anyways, let me retweet this, and we'll add a comment saying live now. And a lot of folks will say live now, and that's a fact. Live now while you can. And I'm doing what I can while I can. One day this arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, is going to be so bad that I might not be able to get around no more. And you know what? I do not want to look back and say, I wish I would have. See what Al ignores the chat. Right, Grimner? Okay, but I'm not going to ignore you all. I'm not. So where am I? I'm right here, but where was I? I was in California up on the Pacific Crest Trail. A lot of people have done this the trifecta, which is the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and in the middle we've got the Continental Divide Trail. Some of those are a lot rougher. I'll tell you what, you start out the bottom on the Pacific Crest Trail down, I guess, close to the Mexican border, if not at. It's a long, hard struggle till you get up into the mountains where you got water. So there's a lot of dry places. Okay, you guys are listening on YouTube. Circle is the live stream. But you can come over to rlmradio.xyz, and maybe you'll get a better stream. There's comments on there. My phone wouldn't allow me to get on there to my phone's not upgraded enough or something. But anyways, so back to California. Man, I'll tell you what, 420, y'all. And there is, you drive around the city, and you can smell weed everywhere. You can see them, too. I mean, taller than houses. Plants our whole backyards. Which is, boy, that's a chancy situation. You know, I suspect people probably have drones flying around looking for something like that. And I would think you're probably taking a good chance of getting killed or robbed at least in doing so. And just like the cops, when they go bust people's pot plants, they generally wait till it's harvest. So you spend all that time and all that effort, all that money to be robbed. And that's what happens with it being legal anyways. Why can't it be like a tomato plant? Why can't it just be a plant? You can grow tomatoes and eat them. And if you don't like tomatoes and don't want to grow them, well, if you don't like tomatoes, don't eat them. And if you don't want to grow them, you can go buy them in a store. And, of course, in a true free market, the prices come way down. I'll give you some prices of pot. Spokane was the cheapest up in Washington. Discount bud, you can get it for $65 an ounce for the flavor of the day. And, you know, my whole life, one thing that's been consistent is the price of pot, $25 a quarter, except in California. Back in the 80s, it was double that. It's $25 an eighth. But everywhere else I ever been, you know, for the Reggie or the commercial or brickweed or pressweed, any number of names that you get at the stuff they smuggle in from Mexico, which, of course, when something's illegal or even legal in this case, the prices are artificially high. I mean, what does it cost to grow fruit? Avocados, man, they're crazy high, right? You're going to pay $1 a piece, but, man, would you not pay $1 for a bud that big? Yeah, they're working. Pot laws are to piss you off. They shouldn't be legal or illegal. It shouldn't even be anything to do with it. And I was saying earlier, it looks like there's being a bill or something introduced or pushed to decriminalize cannabis on a federal level. Because even though it's legal within the states, it's still a good chance that they can come in and bust everybody, the feds. And they've been shown to do that. So 65 an ounce, and you can go on up to 300 and something an ounce, I guess, there in Washington. In Oregon, there's so much pot you can't even hardly give it away. As a matter of fact, the hash, when I stopped there for the day in Oregon, met some folks, and they gave me a gang of weed and a bunch of hash, and it's like really nice. Now, the problem with the price of weed, you can get it dirt cheap from illegal grows, as they say. But if you're going to go out of state with it, boy, you are really taking a chance. Now, it's 420, and I have no weed here in Texas, not legal. And being high on the radio, I wasn't willing to carry any pot with me on the bus and end up in jail. Now let me skip ahead real quick to that stop, that audit there that I called, which the Border Patrol agent, he sees me filming, and on his way in, he says, yeah, I hope your video comes out, real smart-ass like. What is an EV? Who's talking about EV? Uh-oh. I heard something beeping. Let me check, make sure. Give me just a minute. I'm going to plug this thing in. Hold on just a minute. I don't want my Bluetooth stuff on this.
You don't get to hold on a minute on a live broadcast.
Let me put this thing back on. I don't even know why I have my headphones plugged in. I'm not listening to anybody, so I'll just leave them unplugged. Let me put this battery pack in my other pocket. There we go. So I won't lose signal. Okay, now where was I? Oh, yeah. I was between Van Horn, Texas, and El Paso, about 100 miles from the border. And they come on, and they, of course, they want to see papers, please. Yeah. Well, a lot like Nazi Germany. Hey, Hans. So he comes on, and I'd just woken up, fallen asleep. Almost 48 hours of bus trip, and man, it was a long week. Like I said earlier, from Vegas to Bunkerville, back to Vegas, back to Bunkerville, then to Cedar City, then to Salt Lake, and back. And I got back Sunday evening, and I was up to midnight finishing my packing, and up at 3 o'clock to get out. And then the bus left, like, I think 5 or 6 hours late, and caused me to miss connection. And Flagstaff, they rerouted me there, and instead of going on past, I went on to Albuquerque, and instead of going on to the east, on through to Texarkana, and then down from there, rerouted me down 25 through Las Cruces, and then into El Paso now. But anyways, this Border Patrol, he didn't like that I was filming, but I guess he knew that, what was he going to do? And then when he's leaving, again, after he goes back and harasses everybody of brown skin to make sure that they're American, not Americant, he comes out, hey, I really hope your video comes out, smart ass. But listen, I found out something a little later on that I didn't know at the time. And the bus driver tipped it off. He was all like talking about, oh, my back. And boy, I gave him a bunch of ration of crap on that trip because he's just an ass. But anyways, so he says something like, oh, yeah, we've got to move these big old heavy bags, and some of them full of books. Well, guess what my bag was full of? I had to downsize on the return here because, you don't accumulate stuff. So he allowed 50 pounds, and I overpacked mine. It's probably about a 60-pound bag, but I manipulated the people into how to get past with all that anyways, and I didn't have any problem. Normally you'd have to pay extra. But so anyways, what is my bag full of? Books and notebooks, a stack about a foot thick from a year's worth of journals, and got a lot to catch up with. I've got no telling how many hours of video that haven't come to light, and interviews and so forth. So anyways, the prick goes out there and finds my bag to search through, and you know what? They didn't find the grass I had in there. Yeah, well, there's a Cliven Bundy has he said he developed. I suspect more than likely it just crossed somehow. Now there's a Bermuda grass. There's the regular old Bermuda grass, and then they've got hybrids, and that's grown for hay, especially horse quality hay. They have here in Texas they have coastal Bermuda. Again, yeah, I'm a hippie grimmer. And in Arkansas there's a Midland coastal. I can't remember what the hybrid is there in Nevada, growing out there in the desert. So I've got it written down. But K something, I forgot. And it crossed with the native strain. Now, the hybrid Bermudas, they do not produce seed that's viable, that will grow. So it grows only from the runners. And when you want to, establish a field of this Bermuda grass, you sprig it, or, you cut the runners and you stick them in the ground. But this here grows from seed and runners. So I'm taking a portion back to Arkansas to introduce it to Arkansas. With fertilizer, it will grow a good 2 to 3 foot. But the uniqueness of it is it will produce from seed as well. Man, of my many titles that I can hang upon my shingle, this will be another one: a transplanter of grass, an introducer of grass to Arkansas. Anyway, so Cliven said that he developed it. So unless he actually took in somehow with a feather and took the pollen, or how that works, I suspect it happened somehow on its own. And the hybrid strain that he started with, that crossed with the standard Bermuda, it probably developed by itself. I was telling my troll friend that I've not told a portion of what I know. No, and I feign to do so, but I am going to talk some as time goes on, a little bit about this, a little bit about that. Bundy movement, if we'll call it that, it drew a lot of the nutters. There's many of the people involved, and especially those prosecuted. They went for, the head of the nail sticking out, sticking up. And those are the people they chose to prosecute. And for the most part, anybody that's different, they want to single out. That's just the way of life generally, Kids in school pick on the odd kid, whatever. But anyways, I guess back to the graphs. We've got that graphs there, and now I'm going to take it along. Now, Clive and I heard him tell one guy, we was riding around, he and I and this guy Andrew, I think it's Cullen. Anyways, photographer. He was out there shooting for Tay Wiles of High Country News. I've reached out to her again, but she's not responded. She's probably not interested. She spoke about me on National Public Radio interview without my name. Y'all might remember that. She chose not to respond to me. I gave her a couple of chances, and I did do a little write-up about her. Of course, I need to go actually make a little amendment on that on the WordPress. But Timothy, hey. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, Dawn, but howdy. Okay, I was reading. Okay, so where am I? I was in the border check, 100 miles in. See Kyle? Who is this Kyle anyways? I've looked for him far and wide and can't find him. Anyways, they searched my bag, picked me out, and I determined that by the comments that the driver made. He was a real prick, messing with people, and I gave him a ration of shit right back. This Chinese lady was sitting up in front of me. She got on in somewhere this side of El Paso, and she's speaking Chinese on the phone, and the light, I guess, shined or something in this driver's. He was just being a dick the whole way, anyways, and I kept calling crap on him. But anyways, he's like telling her to keep it down, she's talking too loud. And I know a little bit of Chinese, as my brother's wife is from China. And I said, Buhao, you're a Buhao driver. And Buhao means bad. And I said, now say xie xie, which means thank you. And the Chinese lady out front, she said, ni hao, which means hello. I said, ni hao ma, which means you say hello, and the ma is then you expect a response. So, also in Vegas, where I left, I was talking to the Chinese guy, had no English, and I had to do it with pictures to communicate. But we did have a little conversation in Chinese, zero English. So pictures and a little bit of Chinese I know. Anyways, he was just so thrilled to find a stranger in a strange land for him that knew a little bit of Chinese, and so he's appreciative. But anyways, so she starts talking Chinese to me as he did, and I was like, I don't know Chinese. I just know a few words. Anyway, she got a big kick out of me telling that driver he was bad in Chinese. Funny. I had a good time with it. Hey, my screen went dark. Come back. There we go. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? So we come along. I guess I'll have to back up to Vegas in the Hero. And the Hero's payment. So some of y'all saw the picture of that pretty girl that I got some sugar from. There was a guy in Flagstaff waiting on a bus, black dude from Chicago, a murderer, obvious murderer, and murder in his eyes. And when I come around, he tells me, give me my shit. I ain't got your shit. Anyways, he's going around trying to mess with people. I'm out there with that girl, we're having a smoke, and he comes up there, give me your cigarette. I got up in front of him, and breaking the law. Of course, I was carrying a certain something in my pocket to, well, let's see, maybe just to open a stubborn pack of ketchup. Anyways, you'll figure out what that is. I really thought that I might have to cut this guy's throat. Very dangerous. If he had jumped on her, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now because I'd probably be in jail in Flagstaff. You know, and I made a comment later on, and you know, then I thought, oh, that kind of sounds racist. I said, you know, that I don't believe in the death penalty, but I think there's some exception, and this guy right here is evil, and he should be hung. I'm like, oh, I sound like a lyncher now. But the fact is, some people don't deserve to breathe air in this world, and most of them, of course, in Washington, D.C. But thank goodness guns are illegal in Chicago because it really makes people safe there. That guy is no doubt in my mind that he has killed many people, more than one. I'm certain of that. Evil. Well, the bus station attendant, he was no help. It seems like you know, he was. All right, take care, Goober. Go, you're gone. He was enabling this guy and letting him get away with this crap. I said, he said, this is my call. I said, all right. I said, when somebody gets hurt, it's going to be your call. It's going to be on you, buddy. Lots to say about that. Anyway, so she's all like, oh, you're my hero. And I said, well, you got to pay the price, and the hero's price is a kiss. So that's the story behind the kiss from the pretty girl on my trip. Yeah, I probably saw that. And if you didn't, yeah, you missed out. Okay, now where am I? My trip to Texas. We'll fast forward. One fellow coming from California, he had one of these containers. So I had no weed, but plenty of people to share along the way. I smoked from Vegas all the way to Texas. The one guy had the little vaporizer thing with the oil in it, hash oil. That was pretty nice. And then I was called a hero again, so I get to add the word hero to my list of things I am. We had stopped in, what was he at? Over, somewhere close to Pecos, Texas, and some group of folks went around the corner and was smoking big old blunts. And I went over and, hey, how you doing, friends? So I was invited into their circle, and then I almost said the word jigger, which I was thinking, well, being black, they might not understand what jigger is, but in the penitentiary, running jiggers is meaning running interference. So I says, the driver started walking that way. I said, I got this. I'll pull a stop on him. And one girl that was sitting by me, she was really, really nice, across from me there and on the bus for that last-legged trip from El Paso. But anyway, she goes, you're a hero. I said, a hero again? I didn't ask her for a kiss. Anyway, so I am a hero, so I've been told. But there, Debbie. Again, today is and no weed for the VinE. Where are we at? Waco. Not talking about Waco. Columbine. It's gonna stay. Those are my crib notes there to talk about. State is going to stay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk about Captain Carl. And I hope if I'm just running an hour today, but if I don't finish this, I'll run over a little bit because I want to make sure I cover a couple things. And the last thing I want to cover is make it real easy for Sheri Duvale to find it in the broadcast here. And I'll link that to her. But I'll talk more about that. Her and John Lamb and Pete Santilli and Wendy Kay. And I was supposed to be along with John Lamb in Waco to do this interview, and so I find he's already there, and he didn't call me. Oh, well, I'm saving that for the end. I'll come back to that. So Waco, 25 years ago, and 2 days ago, I was married in Las Vegas and been divorced since 1999. But Waco, what happened? You know, there's a lot on this here. Did they burn themselves down, or did the government burn them down? Now, anybody that's in mainstream, you know, the public that gets their information from mainstream, they think you crazy when you say that the federal agencies set them people on fire and kill them. So to save the children, they burned them down and killed several children. But John Lamb was there to interview yesterday on the 25th anniversary of the death of some 80-odd people in a couple of dozen children. Might have been 17. There's a lot of kids they killed. Might have been more than that. I don't have the numbers. Actually, I do have this from, I believe it was from 1999. No, I'm sorry, 1993. Waco survivors say FBI tank started the fire. And that's from the Deseret News. That's the newspaper out of Utah. So 6 survivors of the Inferno at the Doomsday Cult, they call it, compound, say the fire was started by an FBI tank that crushed a propane container and knocked over several lanterns, their lawyers say. One survivor said through his lawyer that the scores of people who died in that blaze didn't commit suicide, as the FBI said, but were caught in a fire that moved so fast they couldn't get out. Those people didn't have the ability to find their way out. They couldn't see to get out, says Dick Kettler, an attorney for Renos Avram of Britain. And again, they call him cult leader David Koresh. And 85 followers were believed to have died Monday. The FBI said cultists were seen setting the fire. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did video. And many years ago, 20-some-odd years ago, I saw the video, and I've seen it since. They use sarin gas in there, which is illegal in rules of war. And then you see the tank with the flamethrower on it setting the blaze. So who set the fire? Koresh and his followers or the government? To me, it looks obvious that the government did it. They parked the tank over the top of the bunker where they couldn't get out of there. I saw the video where people are running out the back door from the blaze, and they're opening fire on it. That's all in the with the infrared cameras. I've seen it. They're killing these people as they're trying to escape the flames, and some of them have run back in to escape being shot. They burned to death. So there were 11 survivors. 11 survivors, and John Lamb was there to interview them. He's supposed to pick me up. Kind of pees me off, I'm going to tell you. And today is also the anniversary of the Columbine massacre. So John paid me off. He was talking to Brand when I was leaving and headed to Texas, so it's not like you don't know that I wasn't headed here. And I want to go. So at 52 minutes in, Cheri Duvale, Readout News. Actually, they published my first and only published photograph, and that was the day that Cliven Bundy was released. And I said, "Hey, Cliven, what's that you got on your jacket there?" And he pointed at the not guilty button. The guy that wrote that article used my picture and didn't give me credit. So I don't know how they picked it up, but it was a crop photograph that I took. And Cheri, I told her, and she said, "Yeah, well, I'll put your name on it. Just send me the link for it." And I was in the desert at the time there. I guess I'm probably going to run over a little bit over an hour to finish up my story here. But anyways, I said, don't worry about it. I'll get it to you when I get back into place with internet. And I was running off of that off my phone, and I was pretty limited about how much data I've used, which turns out that I've about burned mine up now. Last I checked, I was 250 MBs left for, I got another over a week to go here, almost 2. But anyway, so that's why I'm calling in instead of Skyping in. Thank you, Grimner. But anyway, so John, he's up there doing a video of Ruby Ridge, dadgum, what's his name? the man up Ruby Ridge, Randy Weaver. And Wendy Kay was along, and she was videoing it, and comes out, John said he had exclusive rights to it, and actually filed lawsuit. There was an attempted recruiting of me early on when I was back in Vegas covering the Bundy Ranch trial, kind of to go against John and John Lamb and Kelly Stewart. And anyway, so I moved back forward to Ruby Ridge and Randy Weaver, and Wendy was filming, and it's like I was a go-between between Cheri and John. I was like, I'm going to stay neutral and see if I can't help, be an arbitrator here. And it could. I didn't. I wasn't able to, and I wasn't surprised in that case. Normally, I'm a pretty good ambassador with folks, and in this case, no, there was no give. Both sides were adamant in their stance, and I think, well, maybe there's been a misunderstanding. But I'm going from neutral now, and I'm going to Sheri Duvale side and Wendy K. John, you said that you told her no and this and that, and I don't think that's the truth. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you didn't know what was going on, but I don't know how you can see somebody shooting a video right in front of you and then come along later and say, no, you can't do that. And you claim copyright on Wendy's video. So, and thank you to the Fog Bow. You picked up that right there. My comment to John was, I said in his video stream that, hey, what happened? I thought we were supposed to meet up down here in Texas. I guess you forgot about me. So the Fog Bow, thefogbow.com, and my liaison, Scurvy, reposted that over there. They're the big patty movement over there. If y'all remember what I told you patties are. He says, well, there's a lot to it. But John lied. I figure he lied. And if he lied then, he probably lied about Wendy and Cheri and Pete Santilli. So you did or you didn't. I don't know. But you knew I was coming to Texas. You knew all this time that, we'd discussed about it and me being along. So what? If you changed your mind, you should have told me. Leave me hanging and go down there, keeping it secret so nobody would leak it out and come steal your glory. I'm going to lose some followers on this, certainly from Facebook, for standing up for Cheri and against John. John, did you fool me? I thought you were a great guy. But are you or not? Did you want the fame and glory all for yourself? You want to make a profession out of this? I don't know. Maybe you can answer. Maybe I'll call you and ask you personally why. Maybe I should have done that before I spoke about this. But no, you pissed me off. I feel like you lied to me and deceived me. So with that, I've got to assume then that Cheri and Wendy and Pete were not in the wrong. And matter of fact, that's how the court found when you sued them for copyright, and you're probably going to get counter-sued, so I guess you need to make money on this stuff you're doing now to be able to pay them back for their lawyers and all that stuff that you cost them. There's been a lot of division in this, what you so-called movement, patriot movement. Well, when I was in Bunkerville in 2014, I purposely did not get to know most of those guys in the militia out there. I didn't go out there to trade one form of tyranny for another. And I'll tell you what, I prefer our current government far more than what anything that y'all would care to establish. It would be worse than any type of Nazi Germany, want to rule over people by force. What is true law is that do as you will. What is anarchy? Do as you will. When there's no harm to person or property. So there comes a convolution. And like I said, I'm stepping away from the Dundee issue. Still, the very fact that how it started, I still support all this. And the fact that this cattle roundup was based on lies by Huron Suckling for the Center for Biologic Diversity is saying that the cattle harmed the tortoise. Not only is that not true, that actually the tortoises and all the other wildlife are benefited by cattle on the land. So it's a big lie. You get into the Ney book and this prophecy thing going on. It's all, of course, appeal to authority, a logical fallacy. I can believe in God and have my ideas and notions and beliefs from the Bible, and so I won't go into that because it is an appeal to authority. Faith is a separate issue, and I can't claim that it's true because I believe it. Circular reasoning There's so many fallacies involved. Some of the militia people that I've talked to, and I'll tell you, last week I had to abandon the mic. In the day before, we're trying to talk about these issues with Brand and Captain Carl. Complete. I've never in my life did a show so full of logical fallacy in my life. Don't get me wrong, Brand, I love a guy, great, took me in. Never been as comfortable, except three places, my cousins and Dan's and at Brand's is, I was completely at ease and stuff. So I'm not knocking him. That's the fact is most people they appeal to logical fallacy. They appeal to authority and assume it's right. A circular reasoning. Run around a snake eating his tail or a dog turning circles chasing his tail. Captain Carl, I said, I'm the smartest person I know. Yeah, and later on I qualified that by saying, because I know so many people that are so much smarter than myself, and if I don't know something, I know where to go look. And, I equate it to this journey worldwide, this journey of exploration. And you've got buoys out here, normalcy. And then you have light towers like Hal Anthony, a beacon, and where you can have a guidance and of authority and assurance and to keep you from floundering on the rocks. And other people in other areas that I have as these lighthouses, this journey. Now, to make sure that I'm not going off in the deep end or off Waco, I keep people that would be considered normal. All right, just to put a check on myself. So I'm not a wacko or going off the deep end, but sometimes you got to look at these buoys and say that are riding up and down on the waves, and say, well, let's give consideration to that. The Waco issue, for instance, most people assume that they burn themselves down, whereas I see that the state is responsible. What do I got left here? Columbine anniversary. Wackos. Now, guns, First and Second Amendment. If you got guns, then, you don't have to worry about people coming in and just running over the top of you. At least you got a chance. They could have just pocket knife on me. That probably would have landed me in jail or kicked off the bus. But my thing is, I'd rather be caught with it than without it. It's a shame. Everything is so 1984, black and white. Black is white, up is down. We're in a point in history that we do actually have a chance of changing things, tipping this right side up, changing the world and making it a better place. But I don't know. I just don't know that there's any hope. There's so many idiots in this world. They're so sure of what they know that is true. They have will allow no consideration for anything else. They won't even take the time to go and give perspective to a possibility that they may be wrong. Of course, they can't be wrong because they're right. Captain Carl and Brand, Captain Carl says, yeah, we had to gang up on you because you're superior intellect. Of course, he was making a joke at my saying I'm the smartest person I know. And fact is I am. And that is because I know so many people much smarter than myself that I would consider experts. And I can go and I can filter through it and make better sense because I just don't stay stuck with thinking that I'm right. Of course, I must obviously think I am right, or I'd think something else different, right? So is that a logical fallacy? Is that an appeal to my own authority? Maybe it is. Anyways, I invite you all to take a ponder gander. Consider perspectives in what matters worldwide. Thanks for tuning in to reallibertymedia.com. And I invite you all back next week, same time, same channel, reallibertymedia.com, rlmradio.xyz. And it's streaming through YouTube over there. And again, thanks everybody for listening. And I'm gonna end it off. We've got this is a Freaker Friday, so Grams is coming up in about less than 3 hours. No, wait, I'm back on the. Sorry, I'm back on the Central, so it's just less than 5 hours for Grammy's Rocket Cheri. And then a couple hours after she's off, be 10 o'clock Central. I'm having to switch back to Central time after all these time zones. But, yeah, 10 p.m. tonight. We've got the Freakers Ball, y'all, Grimner and Moose Girl. So I hope you all come back and tune in for that. The Dork Table Fall is tomorrow. That's 11 Central. The Dork Table with Grammy, Mary, and my good brother Flash. And he's over in Denmark, married to the very wonderful, beautiful Circle Line. And what a great mind she has. Incredible. And an artist and just so smart. Thank you, Cowboy. I am wrapping up. Got long goodbyes, and come here. I'll wrap you all up in a hug. Thank you, Kate. And, of course, Bo Diddley, he's down in Texas, and one day he'll be back to air. But Sunday morning, tune in. I'm going to mess up my time zone. Let's see. It would be 9 o'clock out west, so that'll put it at 11. Yes, 11 Central, noon Eastern for Grim Nerves. We're going to be rocking some blues, playing some trivia in the chat room over here. If y'all are a trivia fans, thank you, Flash. Love you, man. Followed at noon Pacific out there on the West Coast. That's 3 o'clock here in the Central Time Zone. It's Hal Anthony, one of my heroes, a great man, and actually my travels and my limited data, I haven't listened to last week's, and so hopefully I'll be able to catch up with that before Sunday. I've been listening to Hal and being a part of his production for a few years now. And if you're not listening to Hal Anthony, then get yourself behind the woodshed, folks. And that's noon o'clock again, noon o'clock on the left coast here at reallibertymedia.com, rlmradio.xyz, speaker, and all these other places. And the other places I haven't been of late because of lack of internet. Big shout out minds.com, Freedom's Network, and all the other places we're landing. I think iHeart, and I don't remember all the other places. But anyways, great place to be right here. Good folks in the chat room. We have Beth. We miss you. We hope you'll come back. We see you there. So maybe you're listening, but you've not been talking. I know sometimes people like to bicker back and forth, but for the most part, we're pretty intellectual over here and willing to have a discussion. Yes, and always smile when you can, and that's true, Cowboy Tech. Where can we change the world? And it starts at the simplest things. It stands for what's right, what matters. It is worldwide. Let's get through the convolution. Let's consider one another's perspectives. I guess I could go on, but I'll end right here, and I'll say again, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll pass this link on to you, Shari, and John, you too. I'm very disappointed in you. Yeah, hurt my feelings, I guess, and maybe that's why I've ranted and raved some bit on you. But I feel like you were deceptive, and so if you did that with me, who you say you trust, and I kept my mouth shut after blabbing once and deleted the comment about being here in Waco, why didn't you tell me? You know, you knew I was in Texas, drove right by me. So I am very disappointed. Anyways, that doesn't stop me, and I should have spoke to you before speaking of you. Yeah, I know that was wrong with me, but anyways, we'll see how that goes. And I'll give you a chance to explain yourself when I get around to calling you. Anyways, peace, y'all, and thanks for listening. So we'll call it quits. I'll put my earphones back in and let Grimner come back in here, and we'll sign off. Come back to me, Grimner. Hello. Oh, I'm waiting on him. I saw a really awesome movie last night, parts of it. Hacksaw Ridge, and what was his name? Doss. He was a Seventh-day Adventist. Oh, I got kicked out of chat. It dropped off. That's the internet. Anyways, it'll come back in here. Yeah, Doss, he was a Seventh-day Adventist, a conscientious objector in World War II, refused to carry a gun, but went into battle as a medic. Really good movie. It was a surprise. It was directed by Mel Gibson, and I'd like to see the whole movie. But, I think we all need to be conscientious objectors in a sort of way, and let's make the world right. Are you there, Grimner?
Yeah. Thanks, Vince.
Hey, brother.
Interesting show, always. So,
Thanks, bro.
good to have you here, and waiting for the next week's show.
All righty, brother. Thanks again. I really appreciate you taking your time to produce the show for me. I hope I'll have a better show next week. I'm running. Usually I've got pages and pages. I've got half a page of notes just with topics that I covered and no guests. I'll intend to put a better broadcast together next week. Less of a spaghetti bowl, as one of my trolls said. Hey, my mind's all over the place, just like me.
All right, man. Well, peace.
Peace, brother. Bye-bye. Thank you again.